Hello and welcome to Elden Ring Draw Only Challenge, or Tie Only, or Stalemate Only Challenge, where I try to use specific items and that kind of thing. For example, the Theolier's concoction to time my death with my opponent so that the only result of the combat is always stalemate. So I'm going for most stalemates in a row. And I've come to the conclusion that, for example, if I kill them and then proceed to die, even though it says victory on my screen, I'm gonna count those as a draw as well. So today we're going for most number of stalemates possible. Let's see how I do. Now here it is, the same opponent again. This should be pretty easy. Now he does a bunch of parrying, which is gonna stop me from drawing. So I'm gonna do something else. Now this is pretty good because if I manage to kill him with a lightning, can just easily time that and get the death animation synced up so that the fight results in a stalemate. Good thing I'm fighting this guy, the pink-haired mustache man, because he's a pretty good demonstration of what the challenge is gonna look like, possibly. Now here we go, this is definitely a different opponent, but also has a parrying shield, which is not great. Now here, I'm gonna kill him, and I immediately do this, but so the thing that happens is that I get the victory screen. Now this is one of those situations that I would count as a stalemate, but technically the game doesn't consider it one. But in my opinion, if it's a duel 1v1 and both people are dead, probably a good assumption to just take it as a stalemate. Now here we get to the next combatant, hopefully. I'm gonna keep the stalemate chain going. Yeah, this seems doable. There's a lot of running away, which is fine, but you know what I'm saying? Alright, you can just go ahead and do that fast, and unfortunately, it didn't give me the stalemate because I was spamming the running attack with the katana, and unfortunately, he died with the stab, or what's it called? Thrust damage, animation death animation. That's how, and that's because it's a little bit faster. I can't compete with it with the Theolier's concoction. I don't have any other methods of. Wait, maybe actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, the main issue with the other one, the seppuku, I think it's called, the one where you stab yourself with the katana. The main issue is that, first of all, it's gonna take up my Ash of War, which is gonna be a huge block in the road in terms of being able to actually, get the fights to a close, situation. Also, it can only be used at lower healths, which is a huge problem because most of these fights, they just don't get me to low health, you know what I'm saying? Now this person. Alright. I'm trying to go for a parry here just to finish the job, but I'm gonna be a little sneakier than that. Just try to take his breath away. Just waiting for any opportunity. Now this one, he's giving me a little bit more challenge. And by a little bit more, I mean a little bit more. Unfortunately, it did not. This is the first loss. And it's not a good situation. But this guy is not He's not a big time duelist, so I'm gonna give him a pass in terms of the kill. Now, because the previous opponent actually managed to beat me, the stalemate line of battle outcomes has been broken, so it's not as cool if I would withdraw right now, you know, not withdraw, what's it called? Stalemate. Oh. Now this is kind of nice because you can actually potentially get a natural stalemate right here in a second. Or maybe just, you know, because he's going for the darts, I can go for my daggers. And then possibly just, yeah, I want to go ahead and exit the match because he's just stupid. Unfortunately, not everybody gets a brain, and that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? You recognize the meme I'm referencing. It is what it is, that kind of thing. Alright, here we go. Next opponent. I actually did fight this person like a few rounds back. I'm kinda mouth agape, waiting for myself to figure something out as to what to do with this person. And I found my opening. Unfortunately, the parry did not work, but again we find ourselves in a close health situation. That could have been something. That is what I'm... Unfortunately, I think I gave him another dose of the thrust damage death animation, which killed him faster than my death animation, which resulted in a not a stalemate, which is of course not what we're looking for. Gonna go straight back into it, potentially a rematch or some shit like that. Just find a way to get that, you know, natural, not even synthetic stalemate. Gotta see what happens. Alright, here we go, straight to the next opponent with a Asian descendant language name, which means, as you can judge from my screen, this match is gonna start in a later date than usually accepted for duels, and it's gonna be a laggy mess, so yeah, just gonna go ahead and exit this one. Now that person is a very interesting specimen. Homie joins and regardless of the latency situation, goes ahead and plays the game normally, as if that's possible on that kind of latency. Just goes ahead and, you know, instead of disconnecting or blocking me, I've matched with that person multiple times, like there was no point. But regardless, he just keeps coming back to the Colosseum. and playing the game normally when there's nothing to fight. Now here we have Sebastian. Now Sebastian doesn't play a lot of duels, as you can tell by the... That was interesting. By the nerdy talismans with the thrust damage talisman, the what was the name of the Relana talisman? All kinds of nerdy stuff to maximize that damage. And as you can see, it was kind of almost a one-shot, or maybe it is. I don't know. Could possibly be a one-shot. But yeah, I took the liberty of terminating that match as the master and Khan of all Elden Ring Colosseum matches. I determined which matches are qualified and which are disqualified. And that one, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta give a big disqualified too. Now we get to the next opponent. One of the classic opponents, I should add. Knife Party. Now I know Knife Party in person. Now here you can actually do this and do this immediately. Now this right here. You see, sometimes, I don't know what's with the knives. Maybe more than one landed on him, which is possible, you know, for the cause of that animation. But generally, when your opponent is very low on health, a very good way to get that stalemate is to use the fan daggers. And it usually does the long animation, which makes it very easy for the stalemate. But this time, I don't know. Back to the next, again, Knife Party. We're gonna hopefully not AFK this time around. Just gonna troll him with the knives because he had the hubris of actually wasting time by just doing random stuff for a second. Because, you know, I'm out here trying to kill him, and what he's doing is dodging, rolling, going back. See, that is not how you play. This is called, in William Turner lingo, this is called a reactionary player. The problem with reactionary players, they wait for you to do something, wait for you to attack, wait for you to jump attack or all kinds of attacks, and just backstab you, or, you know, thrust counter damage you, something like that. Anything but play the game themselves. As the con of all matches, I'm gonna have to disqualify this duelist right here and just go ahead and head to the next match. Again, I have to repeat my famous quote: not everybody gets a brain, and that's okay. Not everybody needs a brain. Now here I matched with the same Chinese person again. I'm gonna go ahead and disqualify the match before it even begins, hopefully. It's gonna be this is like quick and easy way of getting rid of the classic Chinese player. Yeah, it's just clean, fast, and you never get to actually see them, because I'm pretty sure when you see that kind of person, you know, they're min-maxing their armor and they're doing all kinds of nerdy shit instead of actually playing and enjoying the game. And you're like, wow, I am so much happier for not seeing that person. Think about that. Now here we get another opponent. If it's Knife Party, I swear to fucking God. It isn't, but it's not a new player. And I mean, this is the best I'm gonna get, I guess, today. And I'm just gonna have this be the last one. And just, you know, keep this episode of Stalemate. I'll have to come up with a cool name for it later. but keep this episode short. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to disqualify the match. Don't ask me for the reason. But yeah, that was it for the Stale or Mate show, where I go to the Elden Ring Colosseum and try to stalemate as many fights as possible. As I said, this is the first, pilot episode. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and then after a while, I want to get it, deep into it, develop strategies, that kind of thing, to maximize the potential for stalemate. Of course, I'm joking. I have thousands of hours in this fucking game, meaning that everything that there is to know, I probably know about, and this is the most efficient way of getting stalemates, and I have no better way of doing it. But of course, I'm gonna keep an eye out if a new method pops up. But yeah, until then, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.